So it's time for a product review. So today we are unboxing and reviewing the Ulefone Armor 2S. So let's just have a look at the package. It's actually quite nice. It's quite vibrant and colourful for a Chinese phone packet. Often they're trying to be sleek and elegant and they go for the matte black finish with gold writing or something, but this has got a kind of outdoorsy vibe to it. On the back we've got some little bits of spec, so let's have a look. It says IP68 waterproof. It's an MT6737T quad-core processor, 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of ROM, fingerprint ID, 4700 mAh battery, 5.0 Full HD display, 8 megapixel and 13 megapixel camera, and Android 7.0. That sounds like quite a well-rounded set of specifications. So let's open it up and have a look at what we've got inside. And we've got the phone wrapped in one of those soft cases. Let's set that aside for a moment while we look at what else we get in the box. This is a card divider, so we get a flexible screen protector, a warranty card, user manual, colour pictures in there, that's nice. So they put a bit of effort into making the user manual. We get a braided USB-C type cable. Actually, it's not braided, it's more like a sort of tough rubber, but it's a high quality cable. We get a USB-C to jack plug adapter. Now I know what that means. That means there's not going to be a jack plug on the phone. Not a big deal for me, but anyway, let's move on. We've got a Euro style charger there, which is a 2 amp charger. We get a little screwdriver. How interesting. I wonder what that's for. We'll have a look in a moment. And finally, if I can get it out, we get a USB-C to micro USB adapter. That's interesting. That's quite useful. I guess if you've got a micro USB cable, then you could just convert it into a USB-C with that for charging the phone. So that's what's in the box. Now it's time to have a look at the phone. So let's have a look and see what we've got. So, nice glossy screen. There is a fitted screen protector here already. So on the back here we've got some lovely little detailing there. Got the camera and flash. That I thought was going to be a little thing for like a strap to go through, but it's not. It's just a decorative detail. On the sides here, so we've got power button, push to talk button, camera button. On the top, nothing at all. On the other side, volume plus and minus, and an SOS button. And then on the bottom, we've got a Type-C USB protected by a little door of some sort. Let's see if we can get in there. Well, that's good that it's good that it's difficult to open, because that does mean it's probably waterproof. I'm just going to have to get a pry tool or something to see if I can get that open. I'm not sure which edge it opens from. It looks like you get in underneath there, but that's tight. Oh, here we go. Okay, so yeah, there's a little rubber door there with a USB Type-C charging socket inside, and that's quite a tight fitting little rubber sealed door there. That's quite good. So that's the look of the phone. It actually feels quite nice in the hand. It's hefty without being heavy, and it does feel nicely armoured. These corner pieces here are kind of tough rubber, so these end details here are to protect it from knocks and bumps, and they are tough rubberized plastic. There's a very, very slight lip at either end, so if you were to drop it face down, the screen doesn't necessarily go straight onto the ground. That's good. I guess we need to power it up and see what it looks like when it's running. So the screen's come on. It's a nice looking screen. Now I was a little bit concerned that an armoured phone might have this effect where the screen is set back a little bit from the front glass, but this is not. This is they've used an on-cell process here, and so we've got really nice viewing angle on that screen, at least as far as I can tell from so far. So let's just wait for that to boot up. And while we're waiting, let's just notice it's got a front fingerprint scanner. That's very unusual for a rugged phone. And it's got a little speaker grill there that's flush with the glass, but it's a metal speaker grill, and the front camera is just in there in the glass. And I assume there'll be some sensors or something like that for proximity and so on. So we've gone straight into a little tutorial about making sure the rubber plug is in, and oh, I see. So when we want to install the SIM cards, that's what the screwdriver is for. We unscrew this little panel here, and the SIM cards and storage go underneath there. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the setup on this phone. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'll just go through it. I'll get it all set up so that we can have a little play with it. Okay, so we've done the initial setup. I haven't set up any accounts or anything on there, but actually we've got the phone up and running. I haven't got my SIM card in yet, but we're just into the UI now, and we've got what appears to be a relatively standard Android build here. So when we go into settings, yeah, we're looking at pretty standard Android 7.0 here. So pretty good. The screen is very pretty. It's lovely vibrant colours, and it has a very good viewing angle. There's no real noticeable fall off of quality or colour as you tilt. And the screen, as I say, they've used an on-cell process so that you get this impression that the screen is right on the front of the glass, which is really nice. So the buttons, we've got the little volume buttons here. They're very pleasantly tactile, slightly clicky, but they feel nice under the fingers. And there are, well, I'll have to have a look at what all these buttons do, but for example, if I press the push to talk button, it's launched an app called Zello, which is a push to talk app, so you can have that if you've got a team of people. They can actually use it more like a walkie-talkie than a phone, but I'm not going to bother with setting that up yet. I'm hoping that maybe I might be able to use that PTT button for something else. I might be able to dedicate it to a different function. So that's the initial look and feel of the thing. Actually, it feels pretty good. I'm going to turn it off, and we'll have a look inside of that compartment where the SIM and storage cards go. So using the supplied screwdriver, which is, I've got to say, not the best quality screwdriver I've ever seen, but I'm sure it does the job. We'll just undo those two little screws there and remove this hatch at the back. So a little hatch comes off. This feels like it is actually a piece of metal, I think. It's got two little lugs there. It's got a couple of seals around there. There's a rubber seal here, and there's another little rubbery bit there. And then we've got dual SIM and storage underneath there. So I'm going to install my SIM card. I'll get this all set up. So let's just have a really close-up look at the detailing on those buttons and on the rear of the phone here. Let's just do a quick comparison of size. This is the Maze Alpha, one of my favourite Chinese smartphones, and this is the Ulefone Armor 2S. So comparison of size here, we've got approximately the same physical dimensions this way. Obviously the Ulefone is quite a bit thicker. That's all that armouring. You can't really avoid that. It's probably 4mm thicker than the Maze Alpha. And of course screen, we've got a near bezel-less screen here for the Maze Alpha, whereas we've got a 5-inch screen in a larger body here. But most of that comes from the fact that you want this thing to be rugged. So that screen has to be set in a bit from the sides so that it's not vulnerable to damage, and the armouring of the case and everything else is what's bulked up the body of this phone for a 5-inch screen. Even so, that's still quite a readable screen, and it's quite a comfortable phone to hold in the hand. So let's wrap up this first impressions video of the Ulefone Armor 2S. The build quality seems really good. It's a lovely phone to hold in the hand. It feels nice and solid. It seems like it's made of nice, strong materials, and if the promises about waterproofing and shock resistance live up to what they say, then it could be quite a nice, rugged phone. The screen's quite lovely and quite nice to look at. The fingerprint sensor's not the fastest I've seen, but it's usually pretty reliable. The buttons are interesting. The force required to press these buttons is actually quite light, and I imagine that's designed to work with gloved hands so that you can use it outdoors. However, it does mean that there's a possibility that these buttons are going to get pressed accidentally in your pocket, which, considering that one of them is the SOS button, which will dial an emergency number if you have one set up, that might not be the best of things. So anyway, that's the first impressions video. Seems like quite a good phone, and on paper it has a fantastically rounded feature set. So I'm going to use this as my main phone for a whole week, and we'll probably post a midweek video, and you know all the tests we'll do. We'll do video and various other features. And so there'll be 2 further videos for this phone coming up in the next week. If you want to see what happens and what our final conclusions are, please subscribe or stick around, and we'll see what this phone is actually like to use as an everyday phone. So one more thing to say, this phone came from gearbest.com. I bought this with my own funds. This is not a sponsored video. There will be a link to buy this phone if you wish to on gearbest.com, and that is an affiliate link, which means if you click and buy that way, I make a small commission. If you object to that idea, just Google it up and don't use my links. So that's the Ulefone Armor 2S. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.